Hello, English learners, and welcome. I'm your host, Paul. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, thank you. Excited to chat about English learning today.
Today we're tackling something, well, really common for English learners.
Mm-hmm.
That gap,
Yeah,
between what's in your head and actually saying it smoothly in English. We've looked at quite a bit of research on this specific challenge.
that's right. And our mission here really is to figure out why that happens.
Yeah.
Why don't thoughts just flow into English? And then, importantly, give you some solid, practical ways to build that connection.
Yeah, help you speak more naturally, faster, and feel better about it, more confident.
Exactly.
Okay, let's get into it. So, over the next bit, we'll explore the roots of the struggle, look at what seems to be the most powerful fix,
Mm-hmm.
pinpoint the common trip-ups, share some simple daily things you can try literally today,
Yeah, easy things.
hear about others who've worked through this, and then we'll have a little challenge for you.
Sounds good. It's really less about just memorizing lists of words and more about retraining how your brain approaches English.
Yeah.
Let's start there.
So why is it so hard sometimes? You know the words, maybe you've studied the grammar, but still, there's that hesitation.
Well, the sources we looked at really point to a few main things. The absolute biggest one seems to be this habit, often quite deep-rooted, of thinking first in your native language
Right.
and then trying to translate, word for word or maybe phrase by phrase into English.
Ah, okay. The mental translation step. What does that actually do to your speaking?
Well, it adds a big delay, a significant one. Your brain is doing double duty. Finding the thought in language A, searching for the English words, then trying to stick them together using English rules. It's cognitively taxing,
Takes up brain power.
a lot of it. And time. Our research suggests it adds seconds, maybe more. And in a conversation, those seconds matter. The moment passes or you just, lose your confidence to jump in.
I get that. So you're not just thinking, you're thinking and translating. That takes effort. What else going on?
Another huge factor is psychological. The fear of making mistakes. This one's massive.
Oh, yeah. Fear of judgment, sounding wrong.
Exactly. Fear of using the wrong word, maybe messing up the grammar, somebody not understanding you.
And that fear makes you hesitate, right? Stops you.
Precisely. The thought might be perfectly clear in your head, but that fear acts like a gatekeeper, a very strict one.
Yeah.
You know what you want to say, but you stop yourself, you self-censor, you freeze. It's like your brain hits the brakes thinking, wait, is this perfect? Let me check again.
Right. And that often connects to trying to get the grammar absolutely perfect. People get so hung up on like every little rule.
They do. And look, grammar's important. It's a tool for clarity, but language is primarily about connection, about getting your message across. Focusing only on perfection over just communicating clearly, that's a real trap.
It stops people speaking at all sometimes.
It really does. The sources really emphasize this. Communication beats perfection, especially when you're building fluency. Honestly, even native speakers make little grammar mistakes all the time. It's normal.
It's so true. And the last piece, is it also just about not having practiced the skill of actually thinking in English?
Absolutely, that's key. Think about how we learn our first language, like as kids. We listen, we copy, we speak, we make tons of mistakes, people correct us gently. There's no translation step involved.
It's direct.
It's direct. But if your English learning journey was mostly, say, textbooks, grammar drills, translating sentences, your brain hasn't built that automatic direct link between a thought and the English way to say it. Speaking is a skill, like learning to ride a bike. You need to practice that specific skill.
Okay, so the big ones are the translation habit, the fear factor, getting stuck on perfect grammar, and not enough direct thinking in English practice. Sounds like a lot when you list it.
It can seem like it, but actually this is good news because these aren't like permanent problems. They're habits, they're mindsets, and you can absolutely change them with the right techniques.
Okay, so that leads us nicely to the solution,
Hmm.
the game changer, as our sources call it, learning to think directly in English. How does that actually work? How does it help?
It's powerful because it cuts out that middleman, the translation step. When you train your brain to actually form the thought in English right from the start,
You skip the
so you
translation.
skip it entirely. The thought comes and the English words are just there, ready. This makes your speaking flow much more naturally, much faster. It's closer to how native speakers actually process language in real time.
So you're creating in English, not converting to English.
Precisely. And the biggest immediate benefit you notice is speed and fluency. Your brain isn't doing that two-step shuffle. It's just operating in English mode. The connection between idea and expression is faster. Those awkward pauses start to shrink.
And I bet it makes your English sound more, well, natural too.
Definitely. You start to automatically use real English sentence patterns, common phrases, collocations, instead of building sentences based on your first language's grammar, which often sounds a bit off, bit unnatural.
Like that example. I very like it.
Exactly. A translating brain might produce that, but an English-thinking brain is far more likely to just generate, I really like it, or I like it a lot, or something similar, because that's the natural pattern it's learned.
Makes sense. And confidence. Does
Yeah.
that improve?
Oh, massively. As your brain gets quicker and more comfortable generating English directly, you feel less stressed, more in control. Every time you manage to say what you mean without that translation struggle, it's like a little win. It builds confidence, just like practicing any skill does.
And vocabulary must grow more naturally too, right? Not just memorizing lists.
Absolutely, because when you're thinking in English, even just internally, you're constantly using the language. You start noticing how words fit together in everyday situations. Vocabulary becomes less about abstract lists and more about the actual words you use for simple thoughts like, what should I make for dinner? Or, oh, I need to remember to call Sarah.
Right. Using it in your own head.
That internal use makes it stick much better.
Okay, so the big wins are speaking faster, more smoothly, sounding more natural, feeling more confident, and picking up vocabulary in a really practical way.
And like you said, the great thing is you can start doing this anytime. Right now, sitting here. It doesn't cost anything. It's just about using your own mind differently.
All right, so we know the problem, we know the solution is thinking in English. But, even knowing that, people still get stuck. Let's talk about spotting those specific obstacles, those common blocks that pop up right when you're trying to speak.
Good point. It's one thing to know the theory, another to recognize it happening to you. That mental translation habit we talked about. That's the main one you feel when you notice yourself slowing way down, pausing a lot. Maybe your sentences sound a bit clunky.
Yeah, it feels like your brain is buffering or something.
Exactly.
Right.
It's trying to do that complex conversion on the fly. And right alongside that is the fear block. That's the voice whispering, what if I say it wrong? Are they judging me? They won't understand.
And that's when your mind just goes plink.
Completely blank. Or you hesitate so much you miss your chance to speak. It's a protective instinct gone wrong because it stops you getting the practice you need.
Right. Then there's the feeling of, I don't have the word. Lack of vocabulary.
Yes, feeling stuck because you can't find that one perfect word.
And instead of just finding another way to say it,
You just stop, freeze up, give up on the thought. That's the block. It's the unwillingness or maybe just not knowing how to rephrase, to use simpler words you do know. Our sources really stress this. You can actually explain most things, even complex ideas, with relatively simple vocabulary if you focus on the core message.
good point. And the grammar police in your head.
Yes. That block kicks in when you're mid-sentence and suddenly you're caught in an internal debate. Wait, is it past simple? Present perfect? Should I use the? That mental wrestling match just halts everything.
Stops the flow.
Completely. Again, grammar helps refine meaning, but basic clarity is usually enough to get understood, and that's the first goal.
Okay, so the main blocks to watch for are that translating feeling, the freezing effect of fear, stopping because of one missing word, and getting tangled up in grammar rules.
Recognizing those moments when they happen is the first step to overcoming them. When you feel those blocks, you can then consciously try a different strategy.
Perfect. Let's get into those strategies, really practical things. What can people start doing? Like today, no textbooks, no classes needed, just simple daily habits.
Yeah, the power is really in the simplicity and consistency. First one, describe your day in English, internally,
In your head.
in your head. From the moment your alarm goes off, okay, hitting snooze, need to get up, making coffee now, sun's bright today. Just narrate your actions, your observations as they happen.
Like a running commentary.
Exactly. It trains your brain step by step to link what you're doing and thinking directly to English words. Simple, but effective. Second practice, talk to yourself out loud.
Okay, this one might feel a bit strange at first.
It might. Lots of people feel self-conscious. But it works wonders. You could do it in the mirror, narrate what you're doing as you get ready. Or just talk about what you see outside the window. Ask yourself questions, answer them.
Like, what am I having for lunch?
Maybe soup. Yeah, soup sounds good. It directly connects the internal thought to the physical act of producing English sounds. It bypasses translation completely.
I can see that. Okay, third practice.
Immerse yourself in small ways throughout your routine. Tiny changes add up.
Like what?
Change your phone's language setting to English or your computer. Listen to English music or podcasts while you commute or do chores, actively trying to catch phrases or the main idea. Think in English while you're cooking. Okay, chop the onions, need more salt.
So just weaving English into the fabric of your day in low-pressure ways.
Exactly. Fourth practice. Write short thoughts or journal entries in English.
Does it have to be long?
Not at all, just a few sentences. Don't worry about perfect grammar. Just get the thoughts down. Today was okay. Studied English for 30 minutes. Feeling tired now. It practices formulating thoughts directly into written English without the time pressure of speaking.
Okay. And the fifth one, visual thinking.
Yeah, this is a good one. Look at something, a photo on your phone, an object on your desk, the scene outside your window, and just describe it in English. In your head or out loud.
So, I see a blue car. A man is walking his dog.
Yeah.
The dog looks happy.
Perfect. Then maybe add a thought. Maybe they're going to the park. It forces your brain to connect images and ideas directly to English words and sentences.
Those are all really doable. Describe your day internally, talk to yourself, use English in your routine, write short thoughts, and describe what you see. The key seems to be just doing it, even for a few minutes, right?
Absolutely. Start small, do it consistently. Focus on just getting the thoughts out, not on perfection. Fluency comes from use.
Okay, now let's talk about actual speaking practice. Role play comes up a lot in the sources as a powerful way to practice this.
Yes, role-playing, even just by yourself, is brilliant. It mimics real conversation, forces you to think and respond quickly, but without the high stakes or pressure of a real interaction.
Let's try a really simple one, like the sources suggest. Maybe meeting someone in a coffee shop. I'll start. Imagine you're looking for a seat.
Okay, I'm standing, looking around, coffee in hand.
Excuse me, is this seat taken?
Oh, no, go right ahead. It's free.
Thanks so much. It's really busy in here today.
Tell me about it. Took ages to get my coffee.
Yeah. What did you get?
Just a latte. You.
Haven't ordered yet. Just trying to find a spot first.
Well, welcome.
Okay, great. See? Simple back and forth. Now, listener, it's your turn. I'll start the scene again. You're looking for a seat. Respond to me directly. Don't translate. Just say the first natural English thing that comes to mind. Simple is fine. Ready? Excuse me, is this seat taken? Pause for listener response. Thanks so much. It's really busy in here today. Pause for listener response.
Oh, yeah.
What did you get? Pause for listener response. C. Even just responding to those simple lines forces your brain to work in English, to connect hearing, thinking, and speaking without that translation detour. You can make up little scenes like this for anything, ordering food, asking directions, anything.
And the goal isn't to have a perfect flowing conversation immediately. It's just to practice the process. Hear English, think in English, speak English, repeat.
But what about when you're actually talking to someone and that inner critic starts yelling? The overthinking. How do you manage that in the moment?
Yes. The life performance anxiety. The sources offer 5 really good tips for managing those blocks as they happen.
Okay, tip 1.
Focus on the message, not the mistake. Your main goal is communication. Are you getting your idea across? Is the other person understanding the gist? That's success. Prioritize that over flawless grammar.
Connection over correction. Got it. Tip 2.
Don't get stuck searching for the one perfect word. If you can't find it quickly, don't just stop talking.
Right. Keep going.
Use a simpler word you do know. Describe the idea. Use a little filler like or well, or, to buy a fraction of a second if you need it. If you can't think of frustrated, just say, I felt, tired and angry about it. Keep the conversation moving.
Okay. Tip 3. Practice speaking without editing yourself. The 1-minute talk idea.
Yes. Pick a simple topic, what you did this morning, your favorite hobby, anything. Set a timer for 1 minute and just talk. Don't stop to correct yourself. Don't pause excessively searching for words. Just keep talking.
Even if it's not perfect.
Especially if it's not perfect. The goal is continuous flow, training your brain to keep going, linking thought and speech without that self-editing filter constantly interrupting.
Push through it. Okay. Tip 4.
Breathe and slow down just a little. When we get nervous or overthink, we tend to speed up or tense up. Taking a conscious breath, pausing naturally, it actually gives your brain a moment to catch up.
Calms you down too.
It does, and it makes you easier to understand, sounds more confident.
Good one. And tip 5.
Use positive self-talk. Be your own coach, not your own critic. Instead of thinking, oh, that sounded awful, or I made a mistake, try thinking, okay, I'm practicing, I'm getting my point across. they understood me.
Be kind to yourself.
Exactly. A positive internal monologue reduces anxiety and frees up mental energy for actually speaking.
So the 5 tips again.
Huh.
Focus on the message, don't freeze on words, practice nonstop talks, breathe and slow down, and be encouraging to yourself. These are things you can actively do while speaking.
Precisely. They help break that cycle of overthinking and fear in the moment.
Hearing about others who've actually done this successfully is always really helpful. Our sources had some good examples.
They did. Like Sarah. She was really caught in that translation trap, felt slow, constantly frustrated when she spoke.
What did she do?
She started really small with those daily practices, describing her commute to work in her head in English, talking to herself, narrating while she cooked dinner. Simple stuff.
And did it work? Was there like a magic moment?
Not really one big moment. It was more gradual. She noticed her internal narration got easier, smoother, and then slowly that started showing up when she spoke out loud. She wasn't consciously translating as much.
Her thoughts were just coming out in English more.
Yeah, more directly, which meant fewer pauses, less hesitation. Her focus shifted from, am I saying this perfectly, to, am I sharing my idea? And that seemed to unlock things for her. Her confidence grew.
That's great. And I also read about Ahmed. His big struggle was fear, especially about his accent, right?
Oh, yeah. Accent anxiety is so common, and it can be really paralyzing. What did he do?
He used role play, but mostly by himself at first. He'd imagine talking to a cashier or a colleague and practice saying his part out loud. Sometimes he even recorded himself on his phone.
Ah, so practicing the act of speaking, but in a safe space.
Exactly. No audience pressure. It helped him build confidence just in the physical act of forming English words and sentences. Over time, that reduced the fear's grip.
So when he did speak to others,
He was less consumed by anxiety. He could focus more on listening and responding. And people responded well because he was clear, he was engaged, he was confident, not because he suddenly had a different accent. His confidence made his communication effective.
those stories really highlight it, don't they? It's about consistent practice, changing your mindset, focusing on communication, and building that confidence brick by brick.
It makes it feel achievable. Speaking the way you think isn't some magic talent. It's a skill you build.
Which brings us perfectly to the listener challenge.
Yes. Okay, you've heard the why, the what, the how. Now it's your turn to take a small action step. For the next 3 days, just 3 days, we want you to commit to one of the simple daily practices we discussed.
Just pick one, maybe describing your day internally, or talking to yourself out loud for a couple of minutes, or doing one of those 1-minute nonstop talks.
One practice. 3 days. Doesn't have to be long, 5 minutes. 2 minutes. Even just a few sentences. Consistently start to build the habit. The goal is to consciously start firing up those direct English pathways in your brain.
And a little bonus tip, if you feel brave enough, try recording yourself doing the practice.
Ooh, that can feel awkward.
It can, but listening back, even just to yourself, can be incredibly insightful. You might be surprised at how much you can say. It's solid proof of progress, which really boosts motivation.
So that's the challenge. Pick one thing, do it for 3 days, give it a try.
So wrapping up this deep dive, we've covered quite a bit. The main thing, really, is understanding that getting your thoughts out smoothly in English comes from training your brain to work directly in English, skipping that translation step.
Right, and we identified those common blocks. The translation habit itself, fear of mistakes, getting stuck on specific words, or overthinking grammar.
And we give you those simple, powerful daily practices. Narrating your day, talking to yourself, weaving English into your routine, writing short thoughts, and describing what you see.
Plus, those in-the-moment tips for when you're actually speaking. Focus on the message. Don't freeze for words. Try the 1-minute talk. Remember to breathe and slow down. And practice that positive self-talk.
And remember, Sarah and Ahmed, consistency and focusing on communication, not perfection, are key. Be patient with yourself. It takes time.
Absolutely. It's definitely a process, not an overnight fix.
And maybe a final thought to leave you with. Just consider, as you start practicing this, how much more of the world might open up new conversations, new connections, new opportunities when your thoughts and ideas can flow freely and directly into English.
Something to think about. Thank you so much for joining us for the deep dive. We really hope this helps you bridge that gap and unlock your English voice.